Hi everyone, thanks for coming to this Specialist Colleges Cup webinar. I'm Phil McIntyre from Techability, and with me today is Tom Dorr from British ESports and Simon Barnett from National Star College. They're going to say more about what they do later. I'm merely the conduit for their presentation today. So if I could just ask you all to stay on mute. If you've got a question, feel free to fire it into the chat. If for some reason you can't access the chat, please raise your hand and we'll bring you in on the mic. Without further ado, Tom, it's over to you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a good week. It is hump day, isn't it? I think I've lost track of time this week a little bit. So my name's Tom Dorr. I have the pleasure of working for British ESports, the British ESports Federation. I have been working for British ESports for the last 6 years. In all things to do with education of young people, because I'm actually a teacher. And so for those of you who had the pleasure of sitting and listening to me a little bit last week at the NatStar conference, NatSpec conference, you would have heard my background. But look, I've been a teacher for the last 18 years, 11 to 18 education. I've taught in alternative provision as well in PRUs. And I have led everything to do with British ESports to do with education, from the competitive side of what we do with the student champs and what we'll talk to you today about, the Specialist Colleges Cup. I've also led the development of the BTECs in esports as well, which currently have another 3,000 young people have registered for the level 2 and level 3 BTECs this September as well. So we're here today to talk to you about the Specialist Colleges Cup. Sorry, I'm just waiting. Mark's coming in. Hey, Mark, welcome along. And I appreciate there'll be other people dropping in. I appreciate some people will probably finish teaching at 1 o'clock as well. So I know people will be running to join in. So we're here today to talk to you about the Specialist Colleges Cup and what we've done in the space of alternative provision or specialist colleges to do with esports for young people. So esports is defined as organized competitive video gaming. It's always human versus human, team versus team. So it's not in your bedroom on your own late at night, eating Doritos, drinking energy drinks, playing against the computer. Those are the misconceptions. Those are the preconceptions. Okay. And certainly I wouldn't, as an educator, as a parent myself, I wouldn't feel comfortable standing up in front of people like yourselves, sitting virtually in front of people like yourselves saying video gaming is the best thing in the world. Esports, on the other hand, because it's team-based, because it's human versus human, because it's competitive, because young people can develop all the same team-based holistic skills as they can through playing traditional sports or being in the orchestra or being in the school show. That's why esports is good. It's an opportunity to engage a wider demographic of young people. With the young people you're then speaking with and you work with, you support, actually esports allows them to compete, allows them to play with and against their friends in a way that they can't do through traditional sports, through traditional activities. Esports gives a level playing field, is a level playing field in the way that most other activities, most other sports activities, games cannot be. And that led us to what we've done with the National Star College originally, and with other colleges that Simon will talk about a little bit more in a minute. So we organised the British Esports Student Champs, which is an esports competition. It's in a fifth academic year now. On a Wednesday after school at the moment, we have over 500, I think it's 570 teams from schools and colleges throughout the country playing against each other on a Wednesday after school, across 4 age-appropriate esports titles, 4 different video games, essentially. Now, during the lockdown, we also organised, we're closely partnered with the Association of Colleges, with AOC Sport as well. And through the lockdown, we organised some FIFA tournaments and FIFA games. And that's where we first met Simon, because Simon entered a team of students from that Star College into that competition. The other schools, the other colleges didn't know that they were playing against National Star, didn't know that they were playing against students with using adaptive tech and adaptive controllers, which was a fantastic story in itself. What we then realized through talking with Simon and through the BBC visited Nat Star, which Simon will mention in a minute, some of the students were saying, right, we want to play against students like us. They were tired of getting beaten 10 or 15-0 simply because they didn't have the reactions that the mainstream students did. And so that led us to the development of the first iteration of the Specialist Colleges Cup, where we managed to blag Xboxes from Microsoft, and we put three Xboxes plus adaptive kit into 4 separate colleges. Very successful, and Simon will talk more about it in a minute. Last year, we went back to Microsoft and said, right, we'd like to do it with the whole of the NatSpec network. Can I have 180 Xboxes? They said, no, we'll give you another 12. So we managed to get another 12 Xboxes. We did try. They gave us another 12 Xboxes, another 12 sets of adaptive kit, and we put those into another 4 colleges. So again, we had 8 colleges taking part in this last year. We want to be in a position now where we can gather as many people from as many different NatSpec colleges as possible to say, yeah, we are interested. So I can genuinely go back to Microsoft again and say, not 120 Xboxes, maybe give us another 30, maybe give us another 40, because look at how many colleges we can then roll this out into. So that's where we are. We want to round up as much support from this as we possibly can. And our aim at the end is that you email Simon, or Phil's going to put another Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Forms around for people who are interested, and we can gather information. The intention would be that we organize another one of these competitions probably around Easter time, maybe the summer term, maybe before that if we can do it. We've got essentially a blank sheet of paper, albeit with proof of concept of what we've done previously. And that's where Simon can give us some more detail. So I'm going to pass over to Simon to explain the journey he's been on, what he does with adaptive tech and gaming, the successes that they've had, because he really is the tech guru around this who can support in terms of. Yeah, I'm passing the bucket now, mate.
You are.
Yeah, building you up here.
Thanks. I'm just going to deflate now.
After you.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm Simon Barnett. I'm from the National Star College, and as Tom rightly said, we entered some of my students into the AOC FIFA tournament 2 years ago without telling anybody that they were using adaptive equipment. And as Tom rightly said, they got hammered. They never lost hope. They always wanted to continue playing, even though they were losing like 20-0. But then when we said, and it all developed and became this entity, and we had our first batch of Xboxes arrive and sending them off to 4 different colleges, and then we started to have the communication backwards and forwards from classroom to classroom, and building this communication up with my students and competitiveness. We started to see how this was really going to be a fantastic project, and it needed to grow and grow and grow. As Tom's rightly said, we've gone back again, and we've got another 4 colleges on board, and we want to make this bigger and better again. So one of the things that I imagine people will be concerned about if they haven't used adaptive equipment with their students in their classroom, or an Xbox or any gaming whatsoever, is how you might get away with it. How you might be able to incorporate it into your teaching and your education. And it did take a little bit of persuading my end until the fruits of our labours were shown on the BBC and on Newsbeat. But the real beauty of esports within our classrooms, with young people with disabilities, young people with limited movements, and being able to use such things as the Xbox adaptive controller. I've always got one by my side, so it just pulls it out straight away. Is that you can give someone who's never ever played a computer game before, always been an observer, always been sat back, never been able to partake, that competitive element in their life. A young man, Daniel, who uses 2 switches left here and right here on his headrests to pass and shoot in FIFA, and on his tray he uses 4 switches as a D-pad to run around. And Dan's now taken that way that he plays that computer game, and now he uses that to drive his manual chair, his automatic chair around campus. So transferable skills are coming out of this. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. With regards to where we'd like to be and where we'd like to go, if we could. Sorry, Tom. Come back in a sec, mate.
All right, where we'd like to go with this. So we would like to essentially make this bigger and better.
Yep.
We want to enable other colleges to take part in this. We want other colleges to learn from the experiences of those who've taken part already. We've had young people who haven't used adaptive controllers, adaptive tech. That's not a prerequisite.
No,
we will try and get that involved for people if they want to use it. However, they don't have to. And even then, what we've then even spoken about is, do we have competitions between those who are using adaptive tech, simply between those who are using adaptive tech, and then the students who are able to use the controllers as normal? Okay, so we can differentiate it from that point of view too. We've also looked at driving games, didn't we, as well? We looked at driving games. Do you want to mention about that?
Yeah, so we've looked at Forza Sports, really accessible. We can turn on a lot of adaptions and settings within the game so that we can give the students who have got limited movements the ability to have brake assist and steer assist on, so they can still race each other, and we can do time trials and fastest laps, and they can compete in such a way. There's other games that have similar things, but Forza seems to be the best one for that.
And it wasn't, so the intention is that we set up a time, the same time each week, and we can decide that between ourselves. Previously, we've done it over lunchtimes when, between a window between sort of 12:30 and 2 o'clock, something like that. Because it's easier than doing it after school. That has been, we will arrange that between the colleges who are involved. It's then a weekly round robin with different fixtures. If we get more colleges this time, we might break it down into 2 groups of 8, for example. If we have 16 colleges, 2 groups of 8, everybody plays round robins, and then there's finals. Go on, Si.
Yeah, and there's a handbook that we will send out to everybody as well. I do apologise. I didn't get much sleep last night. That's when my brain's just kind of gone off on a track. My other half's expecting. We'll send out a handbook which gives you a basic how to set up all of the equipment, how to use the switches, how to use the Logitech switch kit, the basic way of remapping this so that the young people can use it however they might need to, and also lots of signposting to various websites, Microsoft's website, YouTube videos, and so you can have a little play. It's a bit like a Meccano set once you get all the switches out. And the Velcro straps and things, and the students get really engaged in, even the littlest of movements. One of our students, Alex, he puts his hand in this cradle and he rocks backwards and forwards to pass and shoot, or he did rock backwards and forwards to pass and shoot, with a Praetorian joystick as well to run around. There's so many different variations and ways that you can set this kit up. Obviously, this is not the only kit on the market, but this is the kit that we're using because we're hopefully going to get Microsoft back on board again and continue to use the Xbox Series S's. If we are lucky enough to get more people on board who want to participate, and we do get these units out to people, what Microsoft did last time is they gave us a subscription for a year, so you didn't even have to pay to play the games, and they were very they're very happy for us to download any game we want and play against each other as much as possible.
So that's important to say. It's not just about the weekly competition on a Thursday lunchtime. This is an opportunity for you to be using this kit within school, but also between schools. And so we set up, there's something called Discord, which is a real-time messaging service that will set up a group that the members of staff from each school, each college will be part of. And it literally is the sort of thing that could be a Monday lunchtime. Oh, we've got 2 kids in, they want to play FIFA. Is anybody around at lunchtime today for a game? in esports language, it's called scrimming. Like any industry has its own
scrimmage,
dictionary of language. Scrimming is simply playing friendly games against each other, essentially. So you can scrim on whenever you choose. It could be internal within the college, it could be external with other colleges. You've got these Xboxes to utilize as much as you want, essentially. If we can get hold of them, that you just use them as much as you want. Use the other games you can download. So as Simon said, it came, and we'll do it again this time. It'll come with Xbox Live with a subscription to that, so you can download whatever you want, essentially, and you can utilize whatever you want. Be aware, please, that there are age ratings on the different video games as well. So depending on what age young people you want to work with, I appreciate a lot of you are 16 through to 25 or into adults. So actually, Call of Duty and some of those other games that some of your adult students will want to be playing, you can't download that for free, which I found out to my cost. I thought Xbox was included in the Ultimate Game Pass, but it's not, and I'm not paying 70 quid or whatever it is for the new Call of Duty. But there might be students or adults in your institutions who want to do that. But Rocket League, FIFA, they're age appropriate. Other games, please have a go, and that's what we want to do, essentially. There may be opportunities. We haven't used Rocket League, we haven't done some team-based games yet, but again, that could be something. If you've got students who you believe have the cognitive ability to be able to participate in a team environment, then why not? We can try that as well.
And just to add on to that, with Rocket League, was something I've been experimenting with since we last did the competition, and the use of Copilot. So we can combine these two. Some of you all know this already, but if a young person is using this with switches plugged into the back, wherever they might be activating the Xbox adaptive controller, someone can actually help them out, maybe with steering or accelerating, being co-pilot. So they're actually using the same controller for the same game. And that can be a student that's more able with a student that is less able to use one of these. And you can combine the two. And it's something that maybe we will look into with Rocket League or with other games, that if people are going to pair up and combine and come together. Just also on the, once the kit is, if fingers crossed, and we get enough people signed up and Microsoft go for it, when the kit is in-house, I've had nothing but positive stories from it. And even some of the most complex learners that I've got here at the college, or those with most severe behaviors, the idea of being able to maybe do some esports at the end of the day and be competing against other classrooms really gives them a focus to knuckle down and do their work, because you don't get your reward if you don't do your work.
Exactly, and that's the whole of what this is. Again, it's reward, it's carrot, it's motivations, but it's also then it's resilience. It's teaching those resilience skills, the winning and losing and things like that, that maybe young people in the circumstances that you're in, that you work with, they don't get that opportunity to win and lose in the same way that in traditional sports happens in traditional schools and colleges.
Yeah, and exactly. This, so sorry to interject there, Tom. We have students here, and I'm sure you guys do as well, where they've never lost, or if they lose, then you hear about it for a long time. I have a young autistic lad called Chris. When he first started, he actually came and played in the first exhibition in Nottingham. And Chris could not lose. Chris would throw controllers, would walk out of the room, would scream, would shout, would go home, tell his parents, would complain throughout the week to start with. Now Chris, after accepting that you can win and lose in life, we'll stand up and shake hands. We'll walk over and shake hands and say, "Well played." And it's something like that. When you see that first happen, it's a joyous occasion. It's like you've gone from here and you're here, and this is a much better you, Chris. I'm really proud of you. So it does have a lot of power.
Exactly,
as an educational tool.
And I think to finish up with, essentially, so we'll build this tournament. It will probably be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. There'll be a sort of, if we say we have 16 schools, 2 groups of 8 playing off against each other everybody plays everybody, and then we have some finals at the end of it. We will also then invite the two top teams the two top teams from each group will then be invited to the live grand finals, which for the last 2 years we've held at the Confetti Institute in Nottingham, which is part of Nottingham Trent University. Phenomenal esports facilities there. And so it'll be the opportunity
Mind blowing.
The opportunity for your students to play live on stage, essentially in a live grand final. That will happen at the same time as all the mainstream finals are happening as well. And so we want it to be inclusive as part of that. So that's essentially what it is. That's where we are with it. We can't make any promises about being able to get the Xboxes. We will be going back to Microsoft. We will be saying that we're doing this again. Would you like to support? If push comes to shove and they don't give us anything, then an Xbox Series S is about £250, and then it's another, £8 a month or something like that for Xbox Live, which then allows you to play competitively against other or play online against other people. So actually, if we don't manage to get it, but schools still or colleges still want to be part, then actually a couple of Xboxes, an Xbox Live, it's not huge amounts of money in the grand scheme of things if people still wanted to participate, because I would hope the 8 colleges who've got these kit already, we will be holding a competition for them in the new year anyway. And if others want to join by buying their own kit, then we can also go down that route as well. However, first thing is we'll try and get more Xboxes from Xbox itself. So from our point of view, Phil's going to send a Microsoft Forms around for people afterwards, just if people want to sign up. Or Simon, what's your email off the top of, I can't remember off the top of my head, simon.barnett, isn't it?
sbarnett@nationalstar.org.
Okay, sbarnett@nationalstar.org. And so just drop him a line with your details, with the college you're from, and he'll add you to the list that he's already got. Thanks, Phil. That he's already got. Look, I'm conscious it's everybody's lunch times. I'm conscious we've got 5 minutes left. Are there any burning questions that anybody have got? Anything you'd like to ask? Simon will be around through for tech support and things like that. He's done some videos, and as he said, the handbook that we've created helps you to find out more detail. Please don't be afraid of the fact you might not know anything about this, in that your students will know more than you do about gaming and things like that. That's absolutely fine. That's where we've all come from. That's the journey we've all been on. So please don't feel
the handbook even is for your infrastructure as well, for those guys to be able to set up ports and things as well, just to let you know.
Oh, brilliant. So Tom and Simon, I was just going to kick off a couple of questions. One is, I'm aware that people in college settings might need to have some justification for their leadership. Yep. Have you got any documentation, academic papers or anything like that they can present to say, look, here's the learning opportunities, here's the social opportunities. We're not just doing this. Obviously, we can just do it for the students to enjoy themselves. Yep. But in terms of, leadership being able to defend themselves to funders and things like that. Is there anything out there that people can grab easily, or can we get that to people later?
I can send you over a lot of the videos that have come out of this. A lot of the impact is very easily seen from the pieces that have been made. We are doing a study around this tournament. It's not complete, so you would be part of a study.
Okay.
And
it can be one of the offers. We've never, if I'm honest, we've never managed to pin down the academic stuff. We've got case studies, we've done case studies, but actually, is there scientific proof? Not yet.
I would hope that the case studies are more than enough, and that actually people are beyond that point already. But just in case people need that as a backup.
But that's case studies for the specialist college cut. If you go back to we say the generic esports, the mainstream esports, there's lots of studies there around the world, in America and all sorts, all over the place. And but for us, this is so new. It's in its infancy that you'll be part of said study. You know, you are.
Sorry, I was really meaning the kind of generic benefits of esports.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so,
I mean,
okay, great. There's lots
Absolutely.
out there.
There's-
People
yeah,
go looking, basically.
there's loads.
Okay,
And
brilliant.
and that can be through the handbook as well. And by all means, if we need to, people need me or my colleague Callum or Simon to speak to senior leaders, it's what we do. It's not a problem at all. We have also created a parent and carer guide in collaboration with the NSPCC as well. So there's stuff that we've done and we do for parents as well. So yeah, huge opportunities.
Okay. So thank you for that. Question 2, from my point of view, was you mentioned Discord. I'm aware that in a few colleges, maybe a lot of colleges, Discord might be blocked. Is there an alternative channel?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we can set up whatever we need to set up. If it needs to be through a Teams channel, we set up a Teams group, then that's fine. It's not a problem
so
at all.
once people are in, then maybe it's a discussion when.
Yeah, absolutely. We find that. Yeah.
Last year, actually Teams worked really well because during lunchtimes we were able to see the colleges across the screens, and even to the point where a college up, Percy Headley College up in Newcastle, one of my students, Elliot, came in and immediately went, "I know him," and went over to the screen and went, "Oi!" And so I think his name was Frank or something. Well, you weren't at the game, so they sit in Newcastle's disabled area. They don't really talk to each other, never really spoken to each other, but they know each other by sight, and then funnily enough, they're playing an esports tournament against each other.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Just got a question here from Damien saying, have you got a particular learner profile this is helpful for? Is it predominantly autism or useful for other learning difficulties as well?
I have learners on the autistic spectrum. I have learners with cerebral palsy that play. Yeah, no,
it's anything.
Anything. Everything.
There was a team from the Royal College for the blind, who played last year,
and were really good.
yeah, absolutely. And my naivety and my prejudice, I was like, how on earth are you gonna? There's kids registered blind who were playing in this competition, so my own naiveties, I'm afraid. So it's anybody and everybody, and that's the whole point.
And that goes back into FIFA settings as well. You can change so many different settings in the FIFA game where you make the players stand out more, and audio going over the top of it, and you can have it so it helps them pass left and right. It helps them shoot. There's lots of different settings that you can turn on to assist the player, and we don't mind that. That's part of it. We're using
that's what we'll agree between everybody, the settings that we are going to use and the settings that we're not going to use, and we'll agree that, so it's a level playing field for everybody. Or if we decide that there's 2 groups that we want to create, and there's a group where there's less settings and there's a group where there's more settings, again, that's something we can decide between the groups that end up playing.
Fantastic, thanks.
All right.
If people have got questions, now's the time, because we're going to start drawing to a close. I just wanted to say the whole thing is totally exciting and interesting. I think the way you've got this off the ground in the last couple of years has been amazing, and I really hope people can get more involved. And I've just seen there's 1 response into the Microsoft form already, so one person.
Excellent.
And Simon's got a list going. So yeah, we've probably got another couple of minutes if anyone's got any burning questions. If not, we will. You have Simon's email address, probably best point of contact, or just fire something into techability@natspec.org.uk and we'll forward it on.
And we could use that Microsoft Forms, couldn't we, to send out to the wider people who haven't been here today? We could use that forms as
what I'll do is just as a reminder afterwards to the people who are here and to people who didn't make it along, I'll send out the forms link.
Awesome.
And they can have a chance, because generally people want to attend, but then they get caught up.
Of course,
college stuff at lunchtime.
I have a question. Funnily enough, strangely, BioWave. You mentioned that there might be someone from BioWave here, Phil. Is that the case? Are they still someone here?
Yeah, I'm watching.
Aha!
Sneaking in.
Yeah, your kit looks interesting.
Yeah, well, I was gonna reach out after this to ask if you guys would like to try it out as part of what you're doing, because that would be really great for us. We haven't tested it all with esports, so we'd love to test that level of competitiveness. So
cool.
Yeah.
I look forward. I'll let you by all means chat with Simon. So you can send me a link to what it is, and I'll have a check it out as well.
No worries yet.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, bonus content there. Oh, sorry, we do have another question from Jason. Is there any links or documentation on some of the devices and switches that can be used with the Xboxes for accessibility?
Yeah, it's all in the handbook. I would send the handbook out to everybody, but it's still got codes in it.
Yeah, we need to update it from last year.
It needs to update it because there's all of the codes for the Xbox Live are on there. Some of them not being used. So
yeah, that will come. That will come in time for sure.
Okay. So Jason, I'd say register your interest on the form, and then you'll be in the loop for all of this stuff as and when it comes out, and it'll really help build the community around this. So that's great.
Great.
Okay. Well,
thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, Tom. Thanks, Simon. Really interesting and really exciting. And I'm sure these guys will be seeing a lot more of you, and we will as well. Thanks for your time, and thanks to everybody for taking their lunchtime to attend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Just as a close, there's more webinars coming up from Techability. So keep an eye on our website, techability.org.uk, and there's a monthly webinar, and they get refreshed every so often. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.